The story of the BR goes way back. When I was a little girl, I was cowboy crazy and horse crazy. And I knew then that I wanted a place in the country where city girls could come and learn about horses and learn to ride. I rode, but my friends liked it, but they really didn't know anything about horses. And I figured that wasn't right. If you're going to ride, you should know something about horses. So that's how I planted the seed to want a place like this. And I never gave it up. I just kept thinking about it, even when I got married. And I never told my husband this is what I wanted. He always came up with, I think I'd like to start this kind, no, I think I'll start that. And then finally he said, after about 10 years, I think what I'm going to do is open a restaurant. And I said, I don't think so. I'll tell you what I want. And he said, you want something? And I said, yeah, I want something. So I told him I wanted this place in the country and I wanted animals and kids to come and learn to ride. And he was shocked. All my friends knew, but I never told him. Maybe I was afraid he'd leave me if he thought I was going in for horses. Anyway, he was very, very generous about this because he didn't ask me any more questions. And then one day he came with a newspaper and he had two places circled. At the time we were living in Birmingham, Michigan. We moved quite frequently. And he said Emmett was one and Croswell was another. Had never been to either one of these places. So he said, call up, make appointments for Wednesday, and we'll go to lunch. So I called, went to Emmett, and I didn't see anything there that interested me. So we came to Croswell and had lunch at Wimpy's, and it's still there. And so we started looking at property. Now, this was January. I told John, I said, you're crazy, John. It's 0 out, there's 2 feet of snow, it's cold, and you want to go look at farms. Well, he said it's going to take a long time to find what you want, so we better get started. Oh, well, okay, that's all right. Well, we did. And the salesman told me about this place when we first started looking, and he said, Mrs. Donovan, I think there is a place that might be what you're looking for. So he told me about, okay, how you do. And we went on looking at 40 acres, 60 acres, 80 acres, 100 acres. And finally, it was near the end of the day. And I said, John, let's go look at this place that it was Jack Grover. And I said, he's been telling me about this, so let's go look at it. And we're done. If that isn't it, then, we're done looking here. We came up the road, and the road at that time ran right along the edge. One slip and you were in the river. And we came up, and this was a white clapboard house. Walked right by, never came in the house, went straight out. We had a bunch of old barns, the hay barn, and now they're beautiful. But John did all that. He was the architect. He designed every building the way it should be and where it should be. That was very important. And I admit we gave him a hard time. What do you want it there for? Why do you, because I think that's the right place. And he was right. Every time he was right. So we went ahead and I walked past the house out to what now is a riding ring. And I just looked around and I said to John, this is it. This is what I want. And he'd say, how do you know that? I said, I don't know how I know that. I just know that this is the place. That was in February. We signed the papers, and we immediately got busy, and we opened camp in June.
The same year.
Built the building. The first one was Silver City. That was number 1. And we built that, and then part of the next Virginia city was just bunkhouse. And it grew from there. I tell the girls, if they have a dream, don't give it up. Stick with it, because you never know when that dream's going to come true. And I had this from the time I was about 8 years old. So I just never gave up. I knew this is what I wanted. And when you know you want something and it's right and it's good for a lot of people, you don't give it up. And it's been worth it. Every bit of it has been worth it to me. And now my family, you know, here's Renee and Katie and Jessica and Danielle and Gina, and they're all working at it, and they each have a little niche of their own that they're taking care of. So now I'm the fat old grandma, and I can sit back with my feet up if I want to.